good morning everyone. Hi, it's Leanne. How are you all this morning? For those of you who have joined me, thank you for joining me. I just wanted to come on and have a conversation today with you all about honouring yourself when times are tough. It's very hard to keep going when you don't feel like you are up to it. Something's been bugging you for a long time and it's just staying in your soul and in your heart and you're just not moving forward with it. And you know, when it all boils down to things, when we feel not together, it's usually centered around loss for something in our lives. And of recent, with the COVID changes, in the global change with COVID, there's been massive loss in people's life. Loss of job, loss of lifestyle, loss of freedom, loss of someone dear. That's the most significant loss of all. And sometimes it's just really, really hard to pick yourself up from that. We all strive for courage and confidence and calm and getting ourselves together in times like this, but sometimes it's just not possible. A couple of weeks ago, I came on here and did a live and spoke about creating positive change in your life. And it was all about what you could do to get that change in your life and surge forward. Little things that you can do to get going, change your room around, change something that you do every day, start a healthy habit and keep going, go out and do some exercise, all positive changes. But what do we do when we're just not feeling up to it? And I've been there many times and I've had loss on many levels in my life. Just about all of the above that I just mentioned, with loss of career, loss of people dear. I even lost my home to fire, loss of a relationship, breakdown of a relationship, loss of a pet, loss of confidence. Yes, I was a terrible anxiety sufferer. Had lots and lots and lots of self-doubt and fear in my life, but I just had to honor that. Do you know, a lot of people these days think, oh my, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I've got something wrong with me. And everyone is so quick to put people in buckets, if you like, of, oh, well, you've got this syndrome, you've got anxiety syndrome, you've got depression syndrome, you've got rushing woman syndrome, you've got all these syndromes. And people go, oh, okay, wow, I didn't realize I was so bad. But I just want to tell you that really there's nothing wrong with you. I don't know whether you're going to find comfort in that. I hope you do. But there's nothing wrong with you. What you need to do is just honor yourself and find your way back to how you want to be. How you want to be in this world. And instead of sitting there and going, oh dear, and falling down further and further and further in the depths of despair, just know that you are normal. And what you usually experience in tough times is a normal reaction to what's actually happened to you. And sometimes we just don't know how to get back from that. You know, in tough times, I feel like you've got two options. Okay, you can either soldier on, keep going, put out that brave face, put on that mask and step out into the world and no one's going to know how you're feeling and you're just going to shove everything to the back of your mind and keep surging on and put on that happy smile and that's going to be it. But sometimes that's not the case. That's just going to come back eventually and bite you badly. You're going to be in a situation where where you least expect it. It could be something visual, something olfactory from your smell, something gustorial from a taste, something that someone says to you, some little trigger that's going to bring that emotion that you've pushed down in your mind and suppressed, and it's going to surge up to the top, and you're going to either go off in a fit of anger or rage, or you're going to burst into tears and it's going to really floor you. And those emotions are ones that you've pushed to the bottom and deep down in your subconscious mind, and these triggers can bring it to the front of your thoughts and your being with such force that it floors you for a long time. The other option is you can take the pressure off yourself and actually give yourself time and tune into your heart and soul about how you're actually feeling, and sit with those feelings for a while. Excuse me. And sit with those feelings for a while and actually think about what's going on for you. What brought you here to this moment and these feelings, and be kind and gentle to yourself and tell yourself, I'm okay. And I'm going to get through these tough times, and I'm going to pick myself up when I'm ready, not when other people say that you should be ready, not when society says you should be ready. And just talking a little bit about that, grief's a funny thing when you lose someone dear, because there's a little bit of denial. It almost seems surreal when you lose someone dear, and those of you that have lost someone dear will relate to this with me. When you lose someone dear, there's a whole phase and gamut of stages that you go through. But the one thing that always got me around our grief, is that when you grieve someone, people expect you to get back out in life so quickly. It's like, okay, well, it's been 6 months. Well, it's been 12 months. Well, you should be on top of things now. But actually with grief, sometimes it's actually the longer the period, the harder it gets, because the depth of what's actually occurred and the depth of missing that person just gets deeper. So I want you to know that if you feel bad longer than you think you need to, or that society thinks you need to, that's okay too. So I wanted to come on here today and talk about honouring yourself when times are tough and in times of loss, and some of the things that you can do to get through those. Number one is choose happiness. Think about all the things that you do have in your life. Think about all the things that are positive. Think about what's going on for you that are good in your life right now, and practice gratitude around that. Write down a gratitude journal. I know I've seen some people do 100 days of happiness and everything that they're grateful for. And when you start to focus on what you have, the good things that you have, and have gratitude for that, could be, your family, your friends, your good health, putting food on the table, being able to have 2 strong legs to stand on, all of those things, they're all things to be grateful for. Could be just everything that you've achieved in your life. Be grateful for that. Hi, Dimple. Thanks for coming on and watching. Just be gentle on yourself, because when we continually have negative emotions around things, we actually bring stress into our life inadvertently. We create more stress when we're continually negative. So just find something in your life that makes you happy today and just go and do it. It is really important that you just find that one little thing and you do choose happiness in your life, because this attitude will always shape your reactions to some stresses. Number 2 is get lots and lots of rest. Then get up and be strong. The one thing that's really going to impact your life is loss of sleep. And I know sometimes when we're feeling a bit down and a bit anxious, that it's hard to sleep. Know that that's normally the stress that you feel, and the reaction on your hormones in your body. When you feel stressed, your body creates more cortisol in your system, and that in turn will put you into the stress, the flight or fright response, and then you find it really hard to control your thoughts sometimes, to get rest, to just settle yourself down. But what I know is if you just go and get a sleep app, practice some meditation, go and do some relaxing yoga, because as you sleep, you release hormones that are going, and as you bring down your stress levels, you release hormones that actually slower your breathing, slower your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, and that will automatically put you in a better mood, and your muscles relax, and you'll feel better. So sometimes the opposite, working out in a gym will help you get strong as well. So get your rest, then go get strong, do some exercise. Exercise will definitely balance those stress hormones and give you a stress relief. Give you some stress relief. So yeah, whenever I had stress in my life, or actually whenever I had a breakup of a relationship, I thought, no, I'm going to go and get strong. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work out. I'm going to pump some iron. I'm going to feel strong in myself, and I'm going to feel strong in my mind and strong in my body and get on top of this. Because exercise in itself releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevating chemicals. So just moving, even if you jump up and down on the spot 10 times, it gets the energy and vibration flowing in your body. Just don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Get moving. Number 3 is be with people that you can trust. Get your support people around you. Choose people that you know are going to listen to you. Really listen, because some people will sit there and they'll be with you, but they're not really with you. So, choose that best friend, or choose a parent that you might be closer to, or choose even a mentor that you're close to, and go and say what you feel in your heart. Actually pour it out to that person and just ask them. I don't want you to say anything, because as women, we don't really want to be fixed. We just want people to listen. We have all this emotion going on in our heart and in our mind, and we just want people to listen. And then we automatically, because we're intuitive beings, we fix ourselves. We find the solution ourselves quite often. We just need people to listen. Okay. Then another thing you can do to uplift your mood, of course, is put on your favorite music and dance. That's a really great one. I used to always listen to Madonna, Like a Prayer. I used to put that on and bang it across the room and play it as loud as I can play it and dance around. And just that, once again, it's getting moving, getting vibration, getting energy going, and you automatically feel happy. You feel happy from a deep place. So if you've got that favorite song, that get up and go song, that gives you a lot of rhythm in your soul, just get out there and pop it on and dance like no one's watching, because you've got it, you're totally in privacy and totally there on your own. So why not get out there and do it? So the 5th thing you can do is eat something healthy. Quite often when we're feeling a bit flat, we tend to go for the comfort foods, especially the sugar, the chocolate. I'm terrible with chocolate. I have to really control myself with chocolate. But when we're feeling a bit down, we do tend to go for the comfort foods, the chocolate, the high carbohydrates, the sugary, the floury foods that really do play havoc with our body. And I know that when I do eat, being a naturopath, I know that if I don't eat well, because I'm human, I do have times when I slip back too. If I don't eat well, I don't feel good within myself. I'm not honouring my body. I'm not honouring myself and who I actually am. So, every time you have something healthy, you automatically feel good. It's automatically uplifting. You automatically know that you're doing good for yourself. So things like fruit and vegetables and nuts and seeds and pulses and grains, these are all great things that you can put in your body. Google a recipe, a healthy recipe, vegetarian, vegan, whatever. Just Google a healthy recipe and go cook it for yourself, or just simply pick up some fruit and eat it. But when we get into high sugary foods, you may not know this, but when you do get into high sugary foods and high sugar content, especially processed sugar, you do lower your immune system for up to 4 hours. So I've done it in the past too, when I didn't have that piece of information. I would go on a sugar binge if I was feeling low, and sure enough, the next day or the second day after that, I would be sick. And then I'd realize that, okay, that was that sugar binge that I had 2 days ago that lowered my immune system and knocked me out. And then I went out into the world and I was very susceptible to all the bacteria and germs and viruses, whatever was out there, because I'd lowered my immune system with eating too much sugar. So eat healthy and you automatically feel like a winner. The other thing we can do to honor ourselves is take deep breaths. In Chinese medicine, when we're sad and when we have grief in our heart, and if we are going through stressful times, we forget to breathe. It's so easy. We start to shallow breathe because our stress levels are rising and we're not kind to ourselves. But when you actually take time to breathe and inhale and exhale in through the nose, out through the mouth, and do quite a few rounds, say up to 10 rounds of that, you automatically bring your stress levels down. In Chinese medicine, when we hold these sadness and grief in our lungs, we forget to breathe. And quite often when you see people who aren't feeling well or feeling down or in deep sadness, they're actually a little bit hunched over because they're closing off their body because their lungs and their chest feel so heavy. But what we need to do is to relax, open up and breathe. Focus on that breathing. And that's also a great way to get to sleep, is to get to sleep when your mind's racing. Visualize yourself putting everything in a little box. Close your eyes, put all the issues of the day, all the issues that are surrounding you, put them in a little box. Visualize yourself taking that little box and putting it outside the door, and then come back and start your meditation and your breathing, and only focus on the rhythm of your breathing and the circular medicine, really, that is your breath. It is the basis of all life. If we can't breathe properly, we don't have quality of life. And that is a fact. Grief and sadness has run in my family line for generations. And looking back at my epigenetic line and the hardness of their life, it's not any wonder that they have sadness and grief in their lives. And when you look at it, a lot of my relatives have actually died from lung disorders. And when I lost my dad, I actually had this conversation with him the day before he died, that the sadness and grief that he experienced, because he was in frontline infantry in World War II, fighting against the Japanese, and he saw a lot of death and destruction, and it's something that he never dealt with, because back in those days they came back from war and they didn't get counselling. They just were expected to go off into life and carry on. And I know that when my dad came back from the war, his payment was money to get a saddle so he could go and work on the farm. So he admitted to me that he was, for many, many years after he came back from the war, he was a basket case basically, and he had carried all that grief and sadness all his life around many things, but that was the main thing. Consequently, he passed away from lung disorder, and just before he was always searching for why, and when I was privy to this knowledge just before he passed away, he actually thanked me, because he realized that he had been carrying so much on his chest that he never, ever, ever got rid of. So it's very important that you practice that breath continually, because it will help you. It will help you do so many things in your life, like sleep, lower your anxiety, increase your happiness, balance your hormones, and bring you down to a really, really calm level in life. So one other thing you can do is spend time with your animals. I have such a menagerie of animals, and pets will give you such unconditional love, and they're so therapeutic. they've in recent years they've brought a lot of pets into aged care homes because they know that it uplifts them so much just to get that unconditional love poured back at them by a dog or a cat. Or a funny story I can tell you is a few years ago I was actually visiting a lady in a nursing home. She didn't have any family to go and visit her, so I had signed up for a community visitor scheme, and I went and went to visit her, and the lady there wanted a pig. So my brother actually happens to have a piggery, so I went up to the farm and I chose this little runt of the litter, and I took it back and I gave this pig to the lady at the reception, and consequently this pig grew up. Beautiful Chelsea, she grew up, and this lady used to take the pig into the aged care home to help the aged care residents. So if you don't have any animals around you, go visit a zoo, or go for a walk and pat a dog through a fence, or just go visit a friend that has a pet, and just be around and get that warmth and beautiful unconditional energy from a pet. Another thing you can do is go and reward yourself. Be spontaneous and go for an adventure. Do something you've never done before. I know when I feel downhearted, I always go for a walk. Hi, Darcy. I always go for a walk and feel great to get out in nature. I know one time I had ran an event that took about 2 years out of my life, and at the end of that, I just really wanted to do something totally different, something that totally took me out of my comfort zone, something that I knew would be uplifting, and something that I couldn't relate to because it was something I'd never done before. And that was, I signed up for a pole dancing class for a whole term, and certainly got me out of my comfort zone, and certainly uplifted my spirits. Flinging myself around a pole, I got lots and lots of bruises out of it, but it was something, that a little adventure I gave to myself, and it was an adventure, putting on a pair of high heels and swinging around a pole. But yeah, one term was enough for me, but I can cross that off now. I've done that. But, start planning. Even while you're watching this video, start planning and doing something different. Start planning to do something different that you haven't done before. I know we're a bit restricted with travel at the moment with COVID, but maybe there's something local that you haven't done before. Maybe there's something that you can go and see, an exhibition, or just even start going for a run. That's a little bit of adventure itself. It is for me. I'm not a runner, but do something spontaneous. Grab somebody and go for a walk together, or go to a restaurant, or just go somewhere, or do something. Just even if it's just going for a little walk around your neighborhood and saying hi to someone that you'd never met before. Just do something spontaneous, out of the norm for you, and that's always going to uplift your spirits. The other thing you can do is to recognize your strengths. Write down a list of everything that you've achieved in your life. Write down everything that you have done, that you know you've done well, and recognize those strengths within yourself. It's so easy to stay in the negative, and so easy to stay in sadness, because the mind is geared that way, and we always are our worst critic. But when you start to put pen to paper and write down everything that you've achieved in your life, and write down everything that you feel that you have, write down if you write down 3 strong words that describe you. It could be loyal, it could be hopeful, it could be confident. Write down 3 words today that describe you and the strengths that you have. And then today, live your life by those 3 words. Everything you do, have those 3 words in the top of your mind, and you'll have a good day, guaranteed. So just write your list, recognize your strength, and when you get it all out on paper, you think, wow, I actually can do more than I thought I could do. I can actually do more than a lot of people I know, and really draw confidence from that, and know your strengths and carry those strengths with you. And that's really honoring yourself there, really honoring your strengths. Keep an emotions journal. That's another thing that you can do to honor yourself. Sometimes when we're feeling down, if we put it out on paper, it doesn't seem so bad anymore because we're actually taking it out of our head, all that mind chatter, all those racing thoughts, all those things that go round and round and round your head that just feel like they're just overtaking your life. If you put it out on paper and look at it, you actually think, wow, you know, it's not as bad as I thought. I can see how I'm feeling, and yeah, it's therapeutic in itself. When I have a lot of ladies that come to my retreats that I run, one of the first tasks I give them is to write out their life story. Write out what's been bugging them all these years. Write out the things that they find hard to do and find hard to cope with. And all of them have all said to me, that was therapeutic in itself. That was my first stage of healing. That was the best thing I've ever done. And they also, when I first looked at it, it seemed hard, but once I started and once I got going with it, it was awesome. So they often thank me for giving them that task. Another thing we can do is find inspiration in the words of others. I hope that somewhere along the line that you have listening to me today, you have got some benefit from it, some sense of comfort, some sense of knowing that you don't always have to just get up, put your mask on and step out and be the best person that you can possibly be in front of everybody when in your heart you feel that that's just not possible, that you're not actually being true to how you're feeling at that time. So, you know, find a spot, find a mentor, find a good a book to read, find TEDx stories are actually, TEDx films are actually fantastic. Find a TEDx film, a TEDx talk that actually resonates with how you're feeling right now, and there will be someone on TEDx somewhere that will uplift you with how you're feeling now. Another thing that I used to do when I felt down was I used to get a motivational book, an autobiography or a biography of someone that I knew had done great things in their life, strong people, and I would read that, and I still do. I would much prefer to read a biography, an autobiography of someone strong that I can draw strength and advice from than to go and read a fictional book. It's just who I am. I know fictional books are great, escapism, but I would much rather escape into someone's life that I know has been strong in their life, and I can draw from that, from their experiences. So yeah. So there's quite a few tips that I've given you today. I hope they've all been helpful. I know that this will be on my Facebook page, so you can go back and watch it, and I hope you can relate to some of it. But I just want you to honor yourself when you're feeling down and take the time for healing. And once you've done all those things and you still feel like you need help, and just pop into my chat and let me know that you need some help over and beyond this. I'm always helping women with the creatrix process that I do. I'm always helping them unlearn their issues that are really deep-seated within their heart. And they always, because sometimes our emotions are so deep that we just can't move them on our own. They're so deep that they're actually could be even epigenetically inherited. It's been scientifically proven that our emotions, we can inherit them from our mother, from our grandmother, from our great-grandmother. They're all in our DNA, because when our great-grandmother was pregnant with our grandmothers, they felt stress at the time that they were pregnant, all that stress and all that energy went through all that of the great-grandmother's body, through all her cells, into the womb, into that baby, and that baby got some of that that stress as well. They were born with that stress. And then so on, when your grandmother was pregnant with your mother, same thing, and when your mother was pregnant with you, and we inherit that stress. And sometimes you might have an emotion that you think, oh my God, where did that come from? I've never felt that before. Just know that it may not even be yours. It's been scientifically proven, that it goes right back. The stresses are inherited. It's in our cellular DNA. So it's good to not be so hard on yourself, because sometimes the crap may not even be yours. But that's what I do with Creatrix. I help release that at a epigenetic level, recode the subconscious mind, and restore a woman's passion and purpose and confidence and courage to what it was before anything ever happened to her at all. So if you would like a chat with me about restoring your life purpose, confidence, calm, courage, anything, getting unstuck in life, anything that you may be feeling, just pop a chat. I'm always open to chat. So so just go out there and honor yourself in these tough times, and just be kind to yourself, be gentle, look for the positive, and be happy in this life. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.